And we are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome. We are back here with the TBL. We are officially here, wrapping up week 1 of season 12 as the Atlanta Talonflames take on the Boston Red Rocks. It is I, the co-commissioner, Fin, back here, and I am joined by Dark Devil 26. Devil, I believe it's been a little bit since you've commentated, but you are no stranger to TBL.
That is correct. I've played in TBL. I've commentated TBL. I'm very familiar with the environment,
Excellent. Well, we are
and it's
glad
good to be back.
Well, we're glad to have you back, and this does look to be an exciting way to finish week 1. Both coaches coming in from opposite ends of the draft board, one with the 11th pick, one with the 3rd. Talonflames coming in here with their first pick, Greninja, supported by Terra Captains Entei, Hoopa, Unbound, and Meloetta. Rounding out the team, they do have a Sneasler, Rillaboom, Sandy Shock, Galarian Weezing, Metagross, and Cryogonal. Over on the flip side, however, the Boston Red Rocks with their first pick of Terapagos are supported by Terra Captains Zebstrika and Rhyperior. The rest of their team rounding out is Enamorous Eye, Keldeo, Jirachi, Cincinnati, Weezing, Hydreigon, and Brambleghast. Right off the bat, what is jumping out to you in this matchup?
So I think jumping out at this matchup right away is Hoopa. Hoopa is so for Hoopa, Terra Hoopa is kind of disgusting. I feel like Terra Hoopa gets ridiculous coverage. It gets ridiculous coverage without Terra, but even so, it gets Terra Blast because it's a Terra Captain. It gets moves like Hyperspace Fury, and like Psychic Psyshock knockoff. Like it gets really good stab options, as well as like it gets really good coverage options as well, like the elemental punches, Thunderbolt, and things like that.
Yeah, it is an absolute menace. I think that's something that's been called out as will we regret allowing Koopa to be able to Terra? Because the biggest thing with it is the fact that it being Dark Psychic, Bug type moves just absolutely can destroy it. Its typing not the best, so being able to get out of that, I'm really curious to see what the end result is going to be on the Mon this year. But Coach Joe over there doesn't have a slouch of a team either. They have some really good support Mons. Terapagos is always a very interesting one. We've been seeing it rise the ranks in usage, especially with its ability to not only reduce damage on the first hit, but to make it so that way, as long as it's got full health, you can potentially just, make hits be not very effective. It's honestly a great ability that allows it to possibly set up, come in, stop a Sweetmon. It has a lot of versatility. I've seen it come in with heavy duty boots and click roar to stop a mon from sweeping. I've seen it come in, click rapid spin, calm mind, and just start wrecking. It is a very versatile mon that gives you some options and a safety eject button if you need.
Yeah, the beauty of Terapagos is that I like to think that Terapagos is a very easy mon to use in a sense where it literally runs Rapid Spin, Calm Mind, Terra Starstorm most weeks, and a filler move. I feel like that's the best way to use Terapagos. So I would be inclined to agree that Terapagos, like, it's really nice to see it rising in usage because I think that mon is very, very good in the sense where he has good abilities. Like it runs like a simple move set, but it gets the job done.
The other thing I like is it does get rapid spin, so hazards are a very, big removal option for it. But the fact that it's stab and it doesn't have bad physical attack really does make it so that way, you can set up some speed and be possibly able to finish something off, get some chip. And one of the things that jumps out to me with the Talonflames is they don't have a ghost type, so they don't have any spin blockers.
No, they do not. Yeah, that would do it. So yeah, like that means Joe would be free to rapid spin, so Terapagos could get the boost. But like looking at Talon's team, I definitely see something along the lines of like, I don't know, AV Metagross to maybe take a hit or two from Terapagos. And like honestly, like I think part of the beauty of Terapagos is that, or the beauty of like Joe's team in general, Joe doesn't even have to run Rapid Spin on Terapagos because he has two other solid hazard removal options, that being Chinchino with Tidy Up and Brambleghast with Rapid Spin in its own right.
Yep, they absolutely did. They do have those options. To answer your question, Play, they did. Like talking about it in theoretical since before we get to reveal the teams, but I'm going to go ahead and let the coaches know that we are ready for them to start. Um, and then we will get underway and we will reveal the teams that they have. All right, coaches have been told that they are good to search. And if I am quiet, let me see if I can turn myself up. Thank you, Goldoa. Hopefully that can be a little bit better.
Yeah, as you can see on the Talonflame side, we got Sneasler, Terra Hoopa, Greninja, Metagross, Rillaboom, and the Sandy Shocks.
And over on the Joe side, you have Terapagos, Enamorus, Jirachi, Keldeo, Rhyperior, and Weezing. One of the big things that is jumping out to me is it feels like these teams just kind of said, hey, we're just going with it. We are bringing, probably our 6 more higher drafted Mons.
Now I do notice that the Hoopa is running Terra Fairy, and Rhyperior is running Terra Flying. Both very interesting choices. What do you think?
I think Terra Fairy makes a lot of sense. Get rid of the Fairy weakness that Hoopa has, especially considering they're going up against a Enamorus. A little surprised it's not something like, say, Fire, Poison, or Steel. Just, better checks if Weezing wants to come in. But we are going to take a look at it, and Keldeo is the lead, taking on the Sandy Shock. So right off the bat, it's super effective against super effective.
And in the teams, I've noticed that Sandy Shock is in fact booster energy, but we don't know the stat right out of the gate. So we have to wait and see what it procs. And here we go. Off we go running. And as you can see, Sandy Shocks did get the booster special attack. So that's something that Talon needs to be careful of, because he didn't run boost your speed. Keldeo can very much still outspeed and deliver a big hit right out of the gate.
Oh, absolutely. Taking a look at the stats, Keldeo can click Hydro Pump here, and it can just obliterate because this is a choice specs set. So kind of wild that they went
specs with Flip Turn, Vacuum Wave, Secret Sword, and Hydro Pump. Very interesting set.
Question here is do you click Volt Switch and dare them to, bait them to click their Flip Turn, or are you just going for the hard switch and they go into the Rillaboom?
That's what I would have done, in fairness. Rillaboom can take a Hydro Pump very well. The unfortunate thing is Rillaboom's not Assault Vest, and I don't think it's especially defensive based on the build. So we'll see how much this Hydro Pump does, because it's going to do a lot.
It connects, and we see the Rillaboom take over half. My goodness. Yeah, looking at it, that looked to have been a near max roll. Hydro Pump, according to the calcs, doing at most 52.7%. The Rillaboom now at 216, so is that 54? So yeah, that was a max roll, but now because of that, Rillaboom is outside the range.
So yeah, now with that in mind, do you predict the switch here? Do you predict Keldeo to go out? Because Keldeo is going to be fearing Grassy Glide here in every way, shape, or form. And as you can see, we do see a switch out.
Yeah, and when you've got a Weezing in the back, it feels like just the best answer here. And I believe Chad's already predicting it. I do believe that this Weezing is Rocky Helmet.
Weezing is Rocky Helmet, yes. You are correct.
Interesting to note, they did go with Levitate Weezing, which does mean they will not be recovering any health from the grassy terrain.
Yeah, no, I feel like Levitate is best because in this case, Sandy Shocks will be forced to go for electric moves and not potentially hit it with a super effective Earth Power.
Yep, and it should be revealed pretty early that this is Levitate. They don't see the natural gas, neutralizing gas notice, and they don't see the health recover, so Volt Switch should be relatively free here. If they click it, they are dealing about 55 to 65% damage, so unless we see a hard switch in for the Rhyperior, which we may just do here.
Switch out. And in comes the Rhyperior. Yep, you called it. Well done. And Joe opts to go for Stealth Rock, which is, of course, a very interesting play.
Yep.
Because that forces the Terapagos to come in later and spin. But I know Joe is not going to want to send in Terapagos right away because that's an important win con right there.
Yeah, now what's interesting here, Rhyperior is a Terra Captain. It is Terra Flying, which means this thing is just immune to everything Sandy Shock wants to do once it Terras. The Sandy Shocks only has 2 offensive move, Earth Power and Volt Switch. So Rhyperior, with its ability Lightning Rod, is just immune to anything Sandy Shocks wants to do once they Terra, and they're going right for it.
Yeah, as you can see, Joe clicked Earth Power there, so that was honestly a really good play on Joe's part. I think they're both named Joe. It just came to my realization that they're both
That's
named
why I
Joe,
call
and that's
Talon
just
Talon
really
specifically.
funny. Yeah, as you can see, we get off the high horsepower here, and Sandy Shocks is going down. That's the first KO of the game.
I was curious if we'd see a Swords Dance set up there, or if they were just going to go for the kill, and they just went for the kill, which hindsight is, 100%, but just knowing what we know, it feels like, that was a free chance to Swords Dance, because you just go in on the Sandy Shocks just about any time you want.
Yeah, no, and I want to shout out some good prep here. That was really nice prep to bring the high horsepower on Rhyperior instead of the Earthquake because of the Rillaboom grassy terrain.
Absolutely.
So good prep on Joe's part.
Yeah, right off the bat, this looks to be a rough spot for Talon. What do you have to deal with this?
Are you forced to go in Greninja here? On Greninja does have Ice Beam, so but like Rhyperior has Solid Rock, so it might be able to live one singular Ice Beam.
I think it lives one. I feel like you have to get some chip on it here. No, Rhyperior is not
choice do you have?
Is not Solid Rock, however, because based off the set, I feel like the information of it being Lightning Rod should be relatively clear
but
here.
But from Joe's point of view, he's got to think, oh, he might be Solid Rock, so or he might be. He doesn't know he's not. He doesn't know he's Lightning Rod. So, but he's actually going to force the switch. So.
Yeah, I think it's a read here for it, because you look at it and you can kind of guess based off everything else going on. We see the pointed rocks do very little. Hydro Pump comes out here and doesn't do too bad of damage. Both mons are going to recover some of the HP from grassy terrain. But, yeah, big damage there right off the bat. Greninja's sitting in front of this Keldeo. Really, it doesn't...
You don't stay in here because one singular attack won't kill Keldeo.
No, it won't. Keldeo can take quite a bit of damage on the special side, so you need to find something to switch in here, and I think it just might be Sac City for the Rillaboom.
Yeah, but because it's a Specs Keldeo, it's free to click Hydro Pump here and just honestly kill if it hits. So yeah, we see the Rillaboom switch in, but will Keldeo go for the Hydro Pump? And he actually ends up going for the Vacuum Wave. And that actually straight up kills. That's crazy.
Specs stab, and it was relatively weak, not overly shocking, and we do see the recovery go back there. Yeah, Vacuum Wave against the Rillaboom was actually set to do just under 35% on a low roll.
So now we see an Assault Vest Metagross come in, which is good because that can take a hit from Keldeo. Secret Sword I know hits the defensive side, but Metagross, as you know, is very bulky on the physical side.
And they're already locked into Vacuum Wave, so staying in there would just be suicide.
But yeah, we see the Jirachi come out now. Interesting.
Did we see a prediction? Do we see a prediction and click the knockoff? We do! Absolutely huge!
Yep.
Reveals the Light Clay.
Reveals Light Clay. And yeah, looking at the team here, it is dual screen Jirachi. So that's really big for Talon here to knock off the Light Clay. Therefore, screens won't last as long.
Now that you know this is
what
a screen
do you do with
Jirachi,
your Talon here, try and work your way back into this game?
I feel like you just click knockoff again, because you kind of anticipate they're going to go for the screens, and you want to get rid of this Jirachi as best you can. Jirachi should be able to live at least one more, and it feels like this grassy terrain is going on forever. Also, yes, Goldoa, I do see your pun in the chat. I'm just choosing not to give it any recognition. Now, interesting enough, this isn't going to do much, but Psychic Fangs does break the screens. And so the Jirachi...
Here's the question.
They clicked the Psychic Fangs.
We do. Very smart bring on Talon's part.
Absolutely huge. Screens mitigated. I mean, Darachi recovers more than it lost there, but I think that you take that every time.
Yeah, absolutely. Screens are a big detriment here for Talon's game plan, because in order to get something like a Hoopa in here to come and sweep, you can't really have Pokemon taking hits because of the screens. What will we see here from Joe's end? We see a U-turn, so
They get the crit
who
on
do you
that. I was
think's
going to
coming
say,
in
that was a
here?
lot of damage.
So I can definitely see Keldeo might come back in here, maybe predicting a knockoff. And then basically Keldeo can just get off a big Hydro Pump if it chooses to, if Metagross is chipped down enough. But
Yeah,
Rhyperior is another option. Weezing is also an option.
we see they elect to go into the Rhyperior. Knockoff gonna reveal the Covert Cloak.
And stinks that they don't get any grassy terrain recovery because of the Terra Flying typing. But now that
Yep.
the grassy terrain is on, what do you see Joe doing here?
I mean, I feel like you have to swap here. You're anticipating a ground move, another high horsepower here potentially. Honestly, would be a great switch into. It's a question: are you fearing the setup, or are you fearing the high horsepower? If you're fearing the setup, you got to stay in an attack. But if you're fearing the high horsepower here, you've got to go into your air balloon Sneasler.
And Talon's in a position where he has to start making plays in order to work his way back in this game
Yeah,
due to him being down 6-4.
it's going to take a good read here. If I were in their position, I think I would go the Sneasler. I feel like the Metagross is too much of a wall for their special threats, that you need to preserve it. And I feel like Joe is going to attack because of that.
And as you can see, we do see the Sneasler come in here, predicting the high horsepower.
And that is
And it
what is
works.
selected.
So now, do you expect to switch in, or are you just going to go for the funny Dire Claw effects?
Well, the Dire Claw now will potentially actually connect because of the Covert Cloak getting knocked off. But what's scary here is you don't want to stay in, because Hair Blast flying would just kill if they have it. And spoiler, they do. And we see a hard swap here.
And we see the hard swap into the Weezing, which is probably the best option to check Sneasler, as frankly, bulky poisons wall Sneasler.
Yeah. Something
Well.
important to note though, Rhyperior, because it's flying now, every time it swaps out and swaps back in, it's taking that 25% from the rocks.
Yeah, that is very true. So you have to be very careful with Rhyperior, or you have to get Terapagos in here to get a spin off as soon as humanly possible.
Yeah. I'm a little surprised we're not potentially seeing the. I mean, the item's been revealed of the Rocky Helmet. I'm a little surprised we don't see the Hoopa Unbound here. It is physical, but
Yeah, we didn't see a Leftovers proc or a Black Sludge proc with Weezing, did we not?
no, we did. It's already been revealed that it's Rocky Helmet because of the U-turn on the Rillaboom early. It showed that Weezing's rocking the Rocky Helmet.
Correct. And so now, if you're Joe here, you're sitting here thinking, oh, he's probably going to go for a water move. Would you, in his shoes, bring in the Keldeo here to potentially get another kill?
I wouldn't. It depends, because I feel like after rocks and then another Hydro Pump, I feel like it might be in range to die to a move. Maybe I'll have to see. It's healthier than I remembered it being. Yeah, because I
Yeah,
feel like,
another Hydro Pump definitely kills.
and if
But you
this
have to
thing
fear
gets Battle
Vacuum
Bond, it
Wave.
gets scary.
That is correct. And you have to fear Vacuum Wave if you're in Talon's position.
Yeah.
And as you can see, he's thinking going Sneasler here, which, in my opinion, could work out, but you really want to keep that air balloon around for the Rhyperior, in my opinion.
Yeah, and the other issue I've got with that is the wheezing still just walls it.
As you can see, we see Talon opt to switch out, and we are going to see the incoming Sneasler again. So he's willing to risk that air balloon here just to get a safe switch into Keldeo.
We do see the vacuum wave not doing much, so you are going to get your unburdened pop. You can get a sword stance here, but I feel like wheezing's just about to come right back in.
Yeah, so but as you can see, Talon's going for it. He's clicking that swords dance, but yeah, we just see in my opinion, we see a wheezing come in here and Sneasler's left rendered useless.
I think right now Talon is looking at the end game of getting that battle bond to pop. And taking a look at the Mons remaining, there's not much that can switch into a Hydro Pump assuming it lands anymore. And so it really does start to get spooky. I mean, this right now is in Joe's favor, but it is a position where a little bit of momentum starts going and it can get very risky. We see here that they elect to go for the Wheezing, or not the Wheezing, the Jirachi instead of the Wheezing, and Sneasler at +2, close combat has to kill.
Now here's the question. Okay, so he does opt to go for close combat, because I was going to make a point that maybe if he wasn't fearing, like, if he's fearing a psychic move, maybe you set up another sword stance there, because it does, that Jirachi did not actually have any psychic coverage, so he could have potentially gotten away with another sword stance there.
I don't think you can, because then you go to +4, which they get a reflect up and basically neutralizes just about everything that you wanted. They elect to go with the Terapagos here instead of Wheezing, which is a little surprising for me, because Dire Claw can really introduce some RNG here that you don't want to deal with.
Yeah, Dire Claw being one of the most annoying moves in the game definitely raises some questions here in terms of, well, Wheezing there is perfectly to take Dire Claw shenanigans, but Terapagos here is a win condition. That's a powerful Pokemon right there. So it's like Joe's banking on no Dire Claw hacks to get this Terapagos rolling.
Either that, or maybe they're baiting the Dire Claw to hard switch into a Wheezing. But nope, they stay in. We see the Terra Shell. It's going to reduce. Oh man, that still did a lot.
Of damage,
yeah.
Too.
No
But
Dire
no
Claw pop
hacks.
off. Terra Starstorm will come out, and that will get the kill there. Absolutely huge. Well, with that, Boston Red Rocks have officially made it so that Talonflame can only get at most 2 points if they were to come back and win. As that is the third death for the Talonflames. But now, the shell's broken. Greninja looks like it's in a prime position to just sweep here, barring a Hydro Pump miss.
If it ain't 100%, it may as well be 50, though. So you have to really try and land those Hydro Pumps, and I called it.
Yep, there it is.
Yep.
Now we see the Rapid Spin come out, and that did a ton. Oh my goodness. I mean, with it being broken.
And as you can see, Greninja actually still outspeeds, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Terapagos ends up living the hit.
We see the Terra Starstorm come out, and that should pick up a kill.
Now, all that's left really between Joe and a W is an AV Metagross, and then Terapagos can really just sweep from there. But then again, Hoopa is a gigantic threat in its own right, and we can't count Talon out just yet.
Yeah, there's still a lot to be played, but absolutely huge position for the Terapagos. Avoiding the Hydro Pump, avoiding the Dire Claw, secondary effects, letting them avoid Greninja getting the Battle Bond boost. And Hydro Pump is a move I just hate.
Here?
Yep, I feel like Bullet Punch makes the most sense, but a read of Wheezing coming in and clicking Psychic Feigns would be huge.
I frankly think I'd just take the free kill if I were in Talon's position, because Terapagos can come back in later and start potentially getting more kills if, like, Hoopa gets knocked down, Metagross gets knocked down. So, would you risk Wheezing taking Chip, or would you rather just go for the Bullet Punch and make the safe play?
I mean, yeah, they go for the Dark Pulse. This is going to do maybe Mauled Chuck. Do we see the flinch? Nope. Psychic Fangs will get the kill.
Yeah, Tropicos overall did his job, in my opinion. Got the Stealth Rocks out of the way.
Yep.
Killed a lot of stuff. And we'll see now who he opts to go into. But I could definitely see Rhyperior potentially coming in, Wheezing. And as you can see, we do in fact see that Terraflying Rhyperior come back out.
Now, Rhyperior, no way it outspeeds Metagross. Yeah, it doesn't. But Metagross isn't doing a ton back. At most, your Psychic Fang is doing 25 to 30%. I genuinely almost wonder if you need to just sack the Metagross here and play for the points.
Yeah, I like Hoopa is essentially Talon's best bet to come back or just get some points in the standings. So I definitely don't think sacking Metagross is a bad play by any means. But as you can see,
A lot of debate going on here, and I can't fault the debate because the priority move would be absolutely huge. The fact that, you know, it's super effective against the Enamorus, super effective against the Wheezing, like, I can see why there is the debate. But the chip's going to come through Psychic Fangs. We see the high horsepower, and that will pick up a kill. Rhyperior putting in some insane work this match.
Yeah, definitely. And now all that's standing, and now the Hoopa is the only Pokemon left on Talon's side, but Hoopa, as you know, is a very, very big threat.
It is, at this range, I don't know if I would Terra just yet, only because you don't want the Wheezing to potentially see a Sludge Bomb. I feel like Zen Headbutt's the safest play.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Zen Headbutt, yeah, you just gotta... First gotta land the attack, but Joe has some wiggle room here. Joe has some wiggle room in order to potentially navigate his way through Hoopa. Like, he has the Enamorus still in the back, which I definitely think Hoopa would be saving its Terra for. We have the Wheezing, which could probably take a Zen Headbutt.
A lot of debate coming out from Joe's side here, and I think a big reason, they have 4 Mons right now. This is the difference between 3 points and 2 points. And so they're trying to preserve that differential. Do they make an overread, and do we see the Wheezing come in? Because that would be huge here. Oh, that one of the best answers for this Mon. And it hangs
lives on
like
one!
Oh. Yeah, I think this is the right move. You click Terra Blast. It's a non-contact move. And the Wheezing goes down.
But that's a big read for Talon.
And that's absolutely huge here because Joe and the Boston Red Rocks try to potentially get a little bit greedy, have one more Mon alive to keep that differential for the points. And because of that, it actually puts them in a really precarious position because you've got Rhyperior, who is likely dead to 1 move. You've got Keldeo, which I don't think kills being dead to 1 move. And so it comes down to Enamorus here. And I think now you Terra.
I'm going to see a Terra here, yup. And we do know that Hoopa's Assault Vest, so it's going to be taking hits from Enamorus pretty well.
Here's where I think it'd be wild. This is a Choice Scarf Enamorus with Healing Wish. Do they Healing Wish and go into the Rhyperior?
I could definitely see that happening.
Be absolutely insane.
So as you can see, we do in fact see...
We see a Moonblast. Oh, it's not going to do much. Special Attack Fall doesn't matter. This is a physical set.
And will it be enough to take out the Enamorus? Enamorus, I know, isn't the most bulky Pokemon. And he lives!
He lives. Oh, this is going to be intense. It might come down to another Hydro Pump hitting from Keldeo. Because Rhyperior's not fast enough.
You know, it's looking dicey for Joe all of a sudden.
We see the hard swap out.
He's actually going to switch Enamorus out. Interesting.
I think trying to preserve that Healing Wish option. Seeing how little damage they're doing. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is going to be insane endgame. They are sacking the Keldeo. They're going to come back in with Enamorus. They're going to click Healing Wish, and then you're going to restore. the Rhyperior. That is my prediction. I think that is their. I think that's their out here.
Yeah, I would be inclined to agree. And the Rhyperior the Rhyperior has Terra Blast, High Horsepower, and Stone Edge to hit Hoopa, and Hoopa, as we all know, does not have good physical defense at all.
There's the Healing Wish. Oh, I think
Now,
that's
will
a
Rhyperior
beautifully
be enough?
executed endgame to ensure the win at the end.
Now, but the question is, does Hoopa outspeed? Can it potentially go for a cheeky Zen Headbutt flinch?
I think that's their only way here because it does outspeed, but the downside is Rhyperior is taking these hits like they are nothing. So you're going to need. You would need at least 2 Zen Headbutt flinches with high rolls because Zen Headbutt's doing 30 to 36%. Do we see the flinch? We do not.
Unfortunately, no. But will this Terra Blast be enough to take it out?
It will.
It will. What a game. Congrats to Joe and the Boston Reggie Rocks for the 1-0 victory over Talon and the Atlanta Talon.
That was absolutely insane of an ending. My goodness. Hoopa Unbound almost clutching up and bringing that match back, but the Healing Wish on the Rhyperior absolutely saving the day. I think they saw the calcs and the odds. And I've got to give credit to Joe. That was the safest play at the end there, not wanting to risk a Hydro Pump miss.
Wow, Joe, great match. I thought you had me. I thought you had me.
When you sacked Keldeo, I was like, wait a minute, you're sacking this thing?
Were you AV? That had to be AV, right?
Uh-huh.
You ran 2 AVs. You ran AV Metagross and AV Hoopa.
That is correct.
Fucking nuts, dude. Crazy.
Dude, the fact that I even got a point, I will take that because it looked like I was so screwed at one point.
As soon as I saw AV Hoopa, I should have got what I should have done was gone Keldeo first to bait out the Terra type because I would have just clicked Hydro Pump either way, and then I would have gone. But then I would have realized. I think I might have been screwed if I did that though, because once I clicked Moonblast and realized AV, I realized I needed to sack, get back in for Healing Wish. At least I got some damage off with the Moonblast, and could kill with the Terra Blast and not have to click something like High Horsepower or Stone Edge.
Of course, you saw what the end game for me was, right? There was only one out.
Oh yeah! As soon as I saw the Zen Headbutt click, I was like, "Oh no, not like this!" Because then you could go Hyperspace Fury and just take me out.
Well, I don't know. How much investment did you have?
You would have needed 2 Zen Headbutt flinches, and then Hyperspace Fury could have revenged.
See that?
Are you sure? Isn't Hyperspace Fury 140 base power?
No, it's only 100.
No, it's 100.
What? Oh, I got so concerned. I thought it was like stupid broken.
No,
Yeah.
So Zen Headbutt was doing 30 to 36. Hyperspace Fury was doing 38 to 45.
Yeah, so I was going for the flinch game at the end there, and if I got the first flinch, then yeah, I would have been a little bit greedy. I would have tried to go for the second flinch, but if I got the second flinch, I went sight on scene. I went sight on scene.
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as I saw Zen Headbutt come out, I'm like, that's the right play. That is the absolute right play. Just gotta pray.
I basically was praying. If I got at least one flinch, I would have been satisfied personally.
That wasn't a very hacksy game. It was just that one Hydro miss.
Yeah, and admittedly, so in that, at least on the play before, when I had Sneasler out there, because the second I identified Keldeo's choice specs, I was like, okay, so here's how it's gonna play out.
Yeah.
Because the second because I knew you were gonna go Vacuum Wave, try to take out a Greninja. So I bring in Sneasler, you pop the air balloon. I get a free Sword Stance off, and then I can probably just clean up whatever you bring out, as long as it wasn't Wheezing, because Sneasler is hard walled by that Wheezing. And
I was shocked Wheezing didn't come out.
It did, yeah.
Yeah, I was a little surprised there myself. But then on that next turn, when Terrapagos came out, and Finn and Dark Devil can attest this because they were casting it, and the chat can attest what I'm about to say. I was in a 50-50. Do I CC? Do I go for the sleep? Do I go CC? Do I go for the sleep? And I went for the sleep. If I would have went for the CC, Hydro Pump would have KO'd on the next turn. But
Yeah,
then
I
you
lived
bring
on like
out Keldeo,
6.
but then you bring out Keldeo because it has the choice specs vacuum wave, and my battle bot is basically worthless.
Yeah. Yeah, I as soon as I saw your battle bond too, I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be so bad. So I had to keep Keldeo alive for the Greninja at very least.
Yeah, I thought you would rapid spin on the first turn at least, but then again afterwards I was like, oh wait, Sneasler would still be faster than Terapagos,
yeah, 100%.
even after the rapid spin. So yeah, that was the smart play. And then after the rapid spin, I was surprised that Greninja was still faster. I mean, I know Greninja.
So I thought I EV'd it properly. Shout out T-Shen. I had a rough weekend. He helped me out a lot. He helped me out, and I thought that I was gonna outspeed the Greninja after one rapid spin, but we must have done some math wrong.
You had. Let me confirm, because the calcs you sent over has the Terapagos that is not the version that you used. So let me.
Right. Well, it's the.
It's
That's
it's
what
it's
I
the
used to
form.
gen
So the
it. Yeah, because
so the-
yeah.
so the calc is showing the base form that's got base 60, whereas the other.
Right, it's 85. It's base 85.
Yep.
Well, I mean,
Oh, you were.
I mean, hell, you want.
Yeah, but I was surprised when I didn't go first.
You would have outsped if the Greninja wasn't timid.
Oh, that's what it was. We outsped neutral Greninja, not max speed Greninja.
Yeah, and then also turn 1, I will be fully transparent with you guys. I switched the booster energy. It was originally heavy duty boots at one point on Shocks, and like a freaking moron I am, I forgot that booster energy goes with the higher base stat, and I was trying to make sure that Shocks would be faster than Keldeo. And
gotcha. Oh, you were trying to boost speed and not special attack?
Yep.
I was very pleased when I saw a boosted in special attack, because I knew that a Hydro Pump would kill. Actually, I knew a Surf would kill. So it was just a free click.
Yeah, and that's when I switched to Rillaboom, and when I saw how much damage I was like, well, hello, Keldeo with a pair of glasses on right now. Hopefully you miss.
I out loud said, wow, that did a lot of damage.
So funny enough, that first hit was a max roll, but then the grassy terrain recovered, so it was outside of another max roll range.
Yeah.
Just barely.
Yeah, and then once like Wheezing came in and everything, like, okay, I was trying to get rid of that Rocky Helmet as quick as I could, so I didn't take a lot of chip damage on my monsters. I have a lot of physical attackers and all that, but I will be fully honest. Calling the Earth Power with a Rhyperior and just going for the Terra Flying. I prepped for Fairy Terra. I prepped for Rock Terra. I prepped for Ground Terra, and I prepped for a Water Terra. But I mean, clicking a Flying type Terra in front of an Electric type is pretty ballsy.
Well, it was Lightning Rod.
Yeah. It completely shut down Sandy Shocks.
Fuck, I forgot it gets
I just wanted you desperately to click Volt Switch. Desperately. I just would have started cackling, because that so again, I gotta credit T-Shen with that one, because a Covert Cloak, Terra Flying, Rhyperior walls things like Entei and Sandy Shocks, and I didn't think about that at first, and then when he showed it to me, I was like, oh my god, wow, that just works. That just gets a move off, and something is taking 75% or more. So
Yeah,
I was pretty pleased.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that was like max attack on the Rhyperior as well.
I think so.
Yeah, because like
No.
I mean,
Nope. We had some special defense investment.
okay, so you had some SPDEF investment.
Yeah.
But again, like Metagross was mainly there to get rid of the items. I mean, I thought about having double knockoff on Rilla at one point, but then I was like, you know what? I feel like maybe at least having drum beating there could help out with some speed drops here and there. Like if I need a cheeky, especially against something like a Keldeo, that would have been nice.
Did you not have Grassy Glide?
No, I did, but it was like,
Oh, okay.
it was like, if at the very least, if I get the drum, because I don't think drum beating procs Rocky Helmet, if I'm not mistaken.
I have no idea.
Look, all I can tell you is that I know Avalanche procs Rocky Helmet,
Yes, that is true.
which is
I'm so surprised Vacuum Wave did not. In my head, that just makes sense that it's a contact move.
There are
It's
so
a
many
wave.
moves.
It's a wave. What are you talking about? It's like a sound wave.
Yeah, but
I
then again,
don't
I mean, like, there's.
know.
Well, I mean, Secret, but see, here's the thing, Joe. If I'm not mistaken, Secret Sword is a special move. It deals physical damage, but I'm pretty sure that procs Rocky Helmet. So it's like,
Yeah, and drum beating is
I'm
not a
pretty certain
contact
that-
move, so you'd be safe.
Interesting. Cool. Yeah, you played around the Rocky Helmet really well.
yeah, I try my best around it. And then when I saw that you were light clay, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get that Jirachi down as low as I can. I want him to have the double screens up, and then I'm clicking that Psychic Fangs, and then I'm gonna be like, all
Yeah.
right, have fun trying to set those things up again.
Yeah, I almost clicked Reflect again on the second knockoff when I swapped into Rhyperior to bait you into Psychic Fangs over knockoff to keep the Covert Cloak, but then I realized I don't need the Covert Cloak anymore. It may be except for Dire Claw, but at that point I'm dying to whatever it hits me with. So I wasn't too worried about losing the Covert Cloak in that situation.
Yeah, it was like everything that we were, and again, like early in the game, like I thought you were just gonna run away with it, truthfully. So again, the fact that I got
Except you had a Sneasler and a Hoopa in your back pocket.
Joe, this is the first time I've ever drafted Hoopa Unbound. This is the first time I've ever used this freaking thing. I don't know what to do with it.
You click Terra and go.
Yeah,
I still need to learn. I still need to learn.
It put in some major work, and honestly, that was a fantastic. That was a fantastic match all the way to the end. As a result of this, Joe, you are now in second place because only one other person got a win. Talon, you are in third because you had the closest loss out of the rest of us.
Yay!
So congratulations, you're both in playoff positions for the moment.
Yay!
Stop the count! Stop the count!
All right. And now for the fun part. Making builds that will force Addie, because I don't know if she's in chat right now, but I'll say it right now. I had to research stats that'll make Addie do what Liv wanted to do in Gen 8 Draft League, which is research how to punch somebody through a computer screen.
Also, I just want to say, speaking of Addie, when I was training my team up, I realized that I had an entire previous set of Pokemon that I used for last season's TBL entirely named Addie. So all 6 Pokemon for one of my weeks was just all Addie. That's how rent-free she lives in all of our brains.
Gotta love it.
I've never played Addie before, at least not to my knowledge. I can't, but the aforementioned Liv researching how to punch me in through a computer screen is because I had the first pick in a Gen 8 Ubers draft. I picked Yveltal, and I ran Fly over Oblivion Wing.
Interesting.
Interesting indeed.
Exactly. So now you guys are researching how to punch me through a computer screen because you guys had a little bit of a nice pause there.
Yeah, it just took a second to process, but yeah, no, that was Great match. We've got our weekly recap starting next week, and then I believe we starting tomorrow for this week, and then next week's match is technically this week, I believe. Also kick off tomorrow. So keep on the lookout. But we've got more exciting matches done, gentlemen. We're gonna call it there. Any final words before we send a sign off?
Just a great match. Just a great match.
Hey, we took an extension because of some external situations that happened, which I will not divulge.
No worries, nothing to
into
talk about.
All I'm gonna say is, for the league to grant us an extension, I believe the two of us gave the league what it was looking for in granting such an extension.
Would agree with you there, Joe.
Yeah, it was a great
but
match.
This battle is officially Jover.
Oh gosh, all right, we're gonna end it there. Thank you everyone for watching. We appreciate you joining, and we will see you tomorrow. Take care.